3, 2, 1.
Please stand by for further details. We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
Hello to those of you who are feeling called to this reading in particular, mystery reading number 1075. My name is Elizabeth, and before getting into this reading, if you are a recurring viewer, you enjoy my work, and you would like to help support it, feel free to do so by sticking around and hitting that subscribe button down below, and ringing the notification bell next to it if you feel called to. And if you do feel called to subscribe and stick around, welcome. And thank you very much for your support, as well as your presence during this reading. So while I was trying to say that whole intro, I feel like I was picking up on a lot of different things that made it a little bit hard to focus on what I was saying. Before I talk about that, I do want to mention that I did see the number 111 on the timer while I was being silent, which is about trusting yourself and believing in yourself. It can also be a sign of that the same messages for me as a reader, and it makes me feel even more confident that what I was feeling before could definitely be relevant for somebody. If it's not you, that's okay. It just means that message isn't meant for you. But I was really, first, the spot on my face where your third eye chakra is supposed to be, that part started to itch around whenever I was thinking about something here about like India or maybe like some country in Asia could be significant for somebody, just to put it, as general as it feels possible. And the reason why I mentioned, that spot itching where my third eye chakra is because your third eye is about your intuition, your awareness, your knowing is what I mean. So I really feel here that for somebody, maybe from Asia, or maybe there's something significant here about Asia, there's something here that you can trust yourself on. 2020 could be a significant year for you, but it doesn't have to be. Getting into interpreting the number 1075, there could have been previous readings that have been significant for you ever since I started doing the ones like between 1,000 and 1,100. But the number 1 in 1075, as we already established, that number is about trusting and believing in yourself. So that feels like it's really reinforcing what we've already been talking about, whether or not you resonate with the whole Asia or, that kind of thing, the Eastern Hemisphere of the world. I mean, let's be real, there's a lot going on over in the East. And I will leave that there. Let's go ahead and move on to the number 0. This can be about a couple of things. One thing that it can be about is recurring themes or patterns. And these themes or patterns can be in the form of signs, synchronicities, spiritual communication, or just within your own experiences in life. And, just in the way that things align. Maybe things align in a way where you're noticing patterns or certain things that keep repeating themselves. And I just feel that no matter how these things or these patterns show up, this is confirmation for you to pay attention to those. The other way that I can interpret the number 0 is a reminder or confirmation to really know when to put yourself first. The relationship and the journey with yourself before any other relationship or journey outside of yourself. The Seven of Wands, using your voice, really standing up for yourself. Someone here might resonate with that. Moving on to the number 7, this is about extending your awareness and your consciousness, gaining more wisdom and finding deeper meaning. I personally really enjoy questioning the hell out of things. I like asking a lot of questions and I like thinking very deeply. And if you do that, I personally think that that is something about yourself that you should cherish and respect and nurture. Never be afraid to ask questions. I grew up in an environment where asking questions was treated like an inconvenience. And I just want you to know that if you resonate with that too, chances are somebody's hiding something. And you're not the problem for asking questions. Someone else is the problem for not giving answers. Don't be afraid to push on things, but also be mindful of how things may push back. I really feel that with the number 7 here to encourage you to keep asking questions, keep expanding your awareness and your consciousness, and becoming more and more wiser, or more wise, than you already are. There's a side of you, it seems, that loves to explore, and I think you should give into that. Even if, people might accuse you of being a conspiracy theorist. I don't know if you noticed lately, but they've been getting a lot of credit, so I feel like if looking outside of the box was comfortable at any point in time in recent history, I feel like now we're getting there. And you can be part of that movement too. Yeah, this is definitely, whatever you feel called to explore, it really feels like there are other people exploring the same thing, noticing the same things you are, the same patterns, spiritual communication experiences. I really feel like somebody here is on to something, and you should pay attention to what your intuition is telling you and where it is guiding you, because you are a human being with instincts and a soul that knows. Let's go ahead and move into the number 5, which is about change and transformation. This could be about you feeling called to change and transform as a person, psychologically, spiritually, maybe even physically. And or this could be about making changes in your life, positive changes, and these could actually be connected, where your internal changes are manifesting external changes, or there's external changes in your life that are pushing you to change internally. If these changes are positive, constructive, embrace them. And if you feel a little bit of resistance, have a bit of a fear of change, don't let that stop you. That's just an opportunity to understand yourself better and to grow and to understand yourself deeper. So if you do feel that resistance toward change, stop, slow down, and reflect on where these feelings, this resistance is coming from, so you can understand it and know how to move forward in the context of it, what to do with it. Adding up these numbers, 1 plus 0 is 1, plus 7 is 8, plus 5 is 13, and there are 2 messages usually with the number 13 for me. The first one, the number 13 itself, is about good luck and good fortune. I feel that this is a reminder, if you embrace positive change within yourself and in your environment, you're only going to bring more positivity, more light into your life. Someone here can probably feel the potential of having more good luck and more good fortune in your life over time. It feels like this is confirmation or a call for you to trust that feeling. And if you're not feeling or seeing this potential for yourself, definitely keep exploring yourself and the world. Because I don't think it's not there. I think it's just you haven't become aware. And I didn't mean for that to rhyme. And I'm seeing the word right in my mind's eye. I don't usually use that phrase too. I rarely do. Just because it often doesn't resonate with me. But if using it now, it's interesting because what I talk about with the itch around my third eye chakra, so that's very interesting. Anyways, seeing the word right. There was a reading that I did recently where there was a card that said right on it, and I'm feeling the Italian word scrivere, which means right in Italian, which I feel someone's ancestors here are encouraging someone to write, whether or not you saw that reading. Really, take this however it resonates for you. I was talking about writing. Yeah, for me personally, writing really helps me process my thoughts. It helps me understand the world better because, I'm seeing it all on paper and it's easier to connect dots. So maybe if you need a way to help you more easily understand your own psychology and the universe, I encourage you to write. That's what has worked for me. You could try it. If it doesn't work for you, there has to be something out there that does work for you. So don't give up on searching for what works for you, and in more ways than one. Let me go ahead and give you the other message with the number 13, which is 1 + 3 is 4. And the number 4 is about stability, and it's connected to your ancestors. Other than this deck here, if you already know what it's called. There's a lot of signs here, a lot of feelings, with the Italian words, the number 4, I think there was something else. But just signs about the presence of someone's spirit guides really here to support them, especially in relation to stability, psychologically and physically. Your ancestors could be really encouraging you to heal as you already intend to do, or maybe this is something you feel guided to do. This is confirmation to listen to that guidance or that pull, especially when we think about the number 7 and expanding your awareness and your consciousness. In my opinion, nothing has expanded my awareness and my consciousness like healing. You just see a lot more when you are not, your perspective isn't distorted by too much darkness or fear. So maybe there is some heavy, dark feelings or fears that need to be addressed so you can see things more clearly, especially your own worth and what you deserve. Your ancestors. I actually find it interesting because number 13, good luck and good fortune, and 1 + 3 is 4, ancestors and stability. I usually interpret the number this way, but I'm only just now realizing how connected these two ideas can actually be. If you create more stability inside and out, if you focus on healing, ultimately, I really, really do feel that it will pay off, and more than just intellectually. So, as you can see, there are 3 decks of cards on the table. The first one here, if you didn't already know, is the Magical Dogs Tarot, but these are only the major arcana cards, and there are 22 out of, I think, 72 major arcana cards in tarot. And the major arcana is the way that I interpret them, they're more bigger picture, more long term. And I'm going to draw out a major arcana to really get what is the major theme here, the big idea, you know. And then over here I have the Nightmare Before Christmas Tarot. And those are the minor arcana cards, the other 50 cards in tarot. And I interpret these as more details, more short term, and I'm going to draw one of these cards to get more detail into whatever the big idea is. And the last deck of cards I have in the middle here is the Ancestor Spirit Oracle, and I'm just going to use this deck to see what your ancestors would like to say about this big idea and, you know, whatever this detail is here in relation to the big idea. So let me go ahead and grab this deck and start shuffling out the card. Okay, so I have the Strength card. And the Strength card has the number 8 on it. The number 8 is about loss and trusting that whatever is lost will be replaced. I really feel that there is a big message about having the strength to let go of and walk away from people and places and things that do your spiritual growth. It's really important to acknowledge that whenever you do heal and you get rid of all of this conditioning, it's going to be hard or maybe even impossible to have relationships with people or be involved in situations that really reinforce the older version of yourself. So if you lose someone or something as a result of your own healing, honestly, might be a blessing in disguise. I do feel called to read from the guidebook, interestingly, for this Strength card. I rarely, if ever, read from the guidebook for tarot cards. But sometimes I like to because I feel drawn to certain things or just feel called to, and in this one, feeling drawn to this in the background. So I'm curious if the guidebook explains any meaning around that. And if it doesn't, well, I guess we'll never know why I feel drawn to it, at least not right now. Let me try to find the Strength card. Almost there, okay. So it says, in this tranquil scene, a great Dane lounges on the green grass, surrounded by flowers in bloom and majestic blue mountains beyond. A small kitten pounces and then, grasping and biting, attacks the wagging tip of the dog's tail. With unflappable calm, this patient giant observes his feline ward. Despite the powerful impulses of his canine instincts, he resists all urges to strike back against the many needle-sharp jabs digging into his tail. Understanding, compassion, and maturity stay his paw. Self-control, tolerance, and love can soothe this ferocious feline. There could be a situation here where it's best to not stir the pot or to create more conflict than there already is. I do want to say that the saying, rather be safe than sorry, that might be relevant for someone here. The pause for thought section says, the strongest position is one of control over your own actions and reactions. Compassion toward those weaker than you is the truest test of a powerful dog. Instincts are important, but sometimes overcoming them can be beneficial. This is actually interesting because it contrasts what I was talking about before about how you have an instinct and a soul that knows. Well, you have instincts and a soul that knows. Learning not to bend to a reactive knee-jerk position can empower your spiritual maturity and help you grow in a positive way. The key words are strength, resolve, patience, self-awareness, courage, compassion, tolerance, and self-control. So this guidebook did not explain or point out to this in the background. So maybe it's not really, at least the artist didn't put it in there for a specific spiritual meaning. But I do think that the reason why I felt drawn to it was to prompt me to read the guidebook. Maybe there's something in here for you that resonates very much that I hadn't put into words. It's very clear, though, that the interpretation of strength being used here is having self-control. Let's go ahead and get one of these minor arcana cards to look deeper into this idea of strength. What is it about this card, these messages, this energy that needs a little more context? So I have the Five of Cups in reverse. It says, always new opportunities, personal mistakes, forgive self, keep going, acceptance. Upright, it says disappointment, depression, setback, and loss. Yeah, the Five of Cups is the card of loss, which is very fitting, not only for the idea of strength, but also the interpretation of the number 8, lost, and trusting that whatever is lost will be replaced. So it's very clear here that you have lost someone or something. For what reason? It can't be exactly clear. It could be because you're healing, or it could be because of something else. But it's very clear that you gotta trust that this was for the best. Whatever is lost will be replaced. Whatever you lost, there is something in the future, I feel, that can take its place. And it doesn't have to be in a way that is materialistic or lacks sentiment. It's just something to look forward to and to be hopeful about. The number 5, as I already said before, is about change and transformation. So there could definitely be a difficult change here that is pushing you to transform, or vice versa. And from this Ancestor Spirit Oracle, this is actually really nice given the energy. We have get into nature, coexistence, gather, and limit waste. See a lot of green here and here. And there's the blues here. I really do get this feeling of earth, but not in just land, but also water, like in a whole way. And I find it interesting, because this is like, we have 2 cards that are more green, that reminds me of land on earth, and then this here would remind me of like the ocean. And it seems a little bit backwards, because there is more water on our planet than there is land. So I feel that maybe there's something here on land that could be grounding. I think that getting out into nature can be really nice and soothing whenever you are dealing with grief or uncomfortable changes. It really helps you, I feel, connect with yourself on a deeper level. And depending on how spiritual you are, it could also really remind you of your connection to spirit or God or whatever higher power you believe in or refer to. I feel a little bit to read from the guidebook just because I just feel called to, but I don't have a lot of time before this stops recording, so I'm on a time limit. Let me see if I can. Maybe I won't read all of it. There's a letter G, E, F. Oh, here it is. We'll do the ancestors speak portion, since I felt the presence of your ancestors quite strongly. Go outside and feel the sun on your face or the wind in your hair. Breathe in clean, fresh air. Walk through riverbeds or feel the soft green grass under your feet. I just saw the number 444. Remember, that's about stability and being connected to your ancestors. They're definitely here to encourage you to go outside and connect with Earth. Maybe, Mother Nature, Gaia in a spiritual sense. Find balance and be one with the natural world, just as the people that probably they were talking about earlier in this interpretation. But just as these people have done for thousands of years. Look at how much time you are spending inside, especially in air conditioning or artificial heating or under fluorescent lights, or, interjecting this myself, or on technology. Your body needs to recharge by having access to natural light and fresh air. Notice how good it feels when you walk outside and experience the world around you. So overall, this reading is very clearly about having the strength, the patience, the self-control to allow yourself to grieve something in a healthy way. And it really seems like spending some time outside could really help with that.